Hi everyone, travel addict guy here, and I've got some breaking news about the crisis here in Spain. And Pedro Sanchez says we can take off the mask, but just not yet. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez soon will be able to stop wearing masks in the street. That is a quote from him. The Prime Minister, for the first time, speaks about the end of the mandatory wearing of face masks outdoors in Spain. Well, I think it's about time. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has spoken for the first time about the end of the mandatory requirement to wear face masks outdoors. And this was Wednesday, June the 16th, which was yesterday. He did so just hours before a meeting of the country's Interterritorial Council of the National Health System between the Ministry of Health and the regions, where the end of this virus control measure is likely to be the main topic of debate. During his speech at a business meeting with the president of South Korea, Moon Jae-in, who was on a state visit to Spain, the Prime Minister did not want to specify the precise moment when the mask will no longer be mandatory in public spaces outdoors, but most regions are betting that it could be between the end of June and the beginning of July. He also said that Spain is improving and we have reached cruising speed in vaccinations. In a few days, we will have more than 15 million people vaccinated, and in a few weeks, 50% of the population will have at least one dose. The roadmap is clear. Total vaccination is the bridge to full recovery, said Sanchez. Well, I'm glad he finally came around to this idea, and I've been saying that for months on this channel. And I'm in Malaga right now, and I'm actually in front of the Grand Cathedral behind me. You can see it right there, and it is gorgeous, and it's an early morning, and it's a bit cloudy right now, but we're gonna hope it clears up very soon. Here's a headline here. British holiday bookings dry up, costing coastal hotels 25 million euros a week. Well, what did you expect to happen, guys? Unfortunately, that amber light system is holding the whole deal up right now to allow British tourists to once again return to Spain. Hoteliers warn that the situation on the coast is critical after Prime Minister Boris Johnson extends the UK's easing of virus measures for another month, and reservations to the Costa del Sol have since tailed off. The viability of many companies is at risk following the UK's decision to extend the current C-19 measures for another month before considering easing restrictions, and the resulting uncertainty is affecting holiday bookings to the coast. The Costa del Sol Hoteliers Association, ACO, chaired by Jose Luque, has said that the demand from tourists from the UK has suddenly stagnated, and subsequently it has lost around 185,000 overnight stays a week, which equates to a loss of between 20 and 25 million euros in income for hotels, holiday apartments on the Costa del Sol. Wow, it is turning out to be another difficult summer, and it didn't have to be this way, guys. It did not have to be this way. And I warned that this was a possibility, and some people said I was overreacting earlier this year, that I was fear-mongering, and here we are, guys. We are in the middle of June, close to July, and another month. It's always another month, and that is the game that they play. And they kind of dangle the carrot, and then they pull it back, and they dangle the carrot, and they pull it away. And they've done it once again. Mijas residents are up in arms about their long queues in the hot sun for their COVID jabs. Social media networks have been full of reports of long delays of up to 2 hours that have been getting worse as the day progresses. Residents in Mijas are unhappy about queuing up in the sun with nowhere to sit while attending their virus jab appointments at the Las Lagunas Vaccination Center in the Costa del Sol town. Since Monday, some people on social media have reported waiting for up to 2 hours for their jabs, and they claim that delays get worse as the day progresses. Here's a quote by one of the people. They said, "We have suffered an endless queue in the sun and unable to sit down. And when we have come to our turn, we have seen that they were only vaccinating at 2 of the 4 enabled posts." And another thing that I heard recently on the news, it was actually one woman and she was waiting to get the jab, to get the vaccine. When it was her turn, they had accidentally given her an overdose and she got 5 times the normal dose. So that was a big concern, and they had to keep her for a long time after. They had to monitor her with doctors, and they had to watch her over the weekend. Here is some more bad news for Andalusia. Andalusian ports will lose millions as Morocco suspends mass summer holiday migration again. In 2019, ships from ports in Andalusia carried 3.3 million passengers and 760,000 vehicles, according to Spain's Ministry of the Interior. Morocco's suspension for the second consecutive year of Operation Paso del Estrecho, the organized summer holiday migration involving millions of Moroccans returning to their home country from working in Europe, will hit Andalusia's ports hard. The ports that will be most affected are those of Algeciras and Tarifa. And we had just gotten back from those places. Miko and I were actually at those locations, and if you want to check those out, you can see some videos that I've been posting recently about that area. In Cadiz also, which are the closest to Morocco, will make sense there, and those with the highest number of ship movements, followed by the ports of Almeria, Motril, and Ceuta, since all will see a dramatic decrease in their activity this summer with the announced suspension. So that is some more bad news here for Andalusia. Wow, it just seems to be a little bit of bad news trickling in here and there. We've got the ports closed from Morocco, and we've got another month delay with the UK and people allowed to come in. So that is kind of a double whammy. Some good news here in Malaga. I have seen, since they've been allowing tourists to come in, I have seen a spike in tourism. Now I have to say that most of these tourists that I'm seeing are, I've heard a lot of French here recently. I believe some Germans are here. And so mostly European tourists that I've been seeing so far, maybe some people from Amsterdam. And I did actually hear a few Americans, I think, speaking here in the streets. So there is kind of a spike, and it has been quite busy here in the streets, especially on the weekends. It has been very, very busy, in fact, the downtown. So that is a positive, but it seems mostly like Spanish tourists this summer, domestic tourists only. Okay, here's some news about the vaccinations going on here in Spain right now. And Spain's Public Health Commission rules out opening up vaccine campaign for now. So some people had asked that they open it up to everyone. They are sticking with the descending age groups at this time, and that's the way they have gone about this from the beginning. According to the latest ministry report, 45.8% of the Spanish population has now received at least one vaccine dose. So that is good. We're on the rise. The over 40s are currently being called up for their shots. So they're doing it by age. I talked about that before. And now they are down to the over 40 group. So they are progressing quite well. Spain's COVID-19 vaccination campaign will continue to respect an order based on age until the entire process is completed. That's what was agreed on Tuesday by the Public Health Commission, which is made up of the Health Ministry and representatives from the regions. Right now, the 40 to 49 age group is being called up for their shots. The Commission has decided to move on to the 30 to 39 group afterwards, then people in their 20s, before finally focusing on adolescents aged 12 to 19, the youngest age that the vaccines have so far been approved for. According to the latest report from the Health Ministry, 45.8% of the Spanish population, which is around 21.7 million people, have received at least one vaccine dose, while 27.4%, 13 million people, now have the full protection offered by the vaccines. All of Spain's regions, which are in charge of their campaigns, as well as the overall control of the pandemic in their territory, have practically finished immunizing the over 70s. So that is a bit of good news, I guess, there. So we're going to go ahead and end the report with that. That is the latest news. So, unfortunately, some more negative news here, I have to say, but they are progressing on the vaccinations, and Pedro Sanchez agrees that is the way out of the crisis, which again I have been saying for months and months if you follow this channel. So hopefully we can get those people vaccinated and we can start to get rid of these masks, at least outdoors. So I hope you're doing well. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Travel addict guy. Take care, everyone.